All right, good evening. Welcome to the pop-up, coming to you live here from the Black Media Matters studios in downtown Seattle. I'm your host, Omari Salisbury, known on the streets of the Central District as the Big O. We got a great show lined up for you here tonight. We got Darryl Foto and LIVt both in the building. I'm talking about like it's overwhelming artistry. Ooh, look at that. We got some clean graphics up there on the screen too. All kinds of good stuff. Before we get into it though, today we got to pay some bills. Give a big shout out to We Rise Wines. We Rise Wines located on 2nd Avenue, just right across the street from the Moore Theater. I'm talking about this place is for us, by us. Lots of great stuff going on there. Wines from across the Pacific Northwest, nationally and internationally, curated by Jamila Conley and her staff there. Also, fantastic menu, great food. They also have a meeting space there. So, support those who support us here at Converge Media and go ahead and visit WeRiseWines.com. And then next up is Coleman Comics is right next door to us, literally right down the hall. Man, they're going to have to put up a better graphic, me, Gil. We got all kinds of great photos from back there. But let me tell you here about Coleman Commons is Seattle's premier waterfront cultural venue and creative event destination, uniquely located in the historic Coleman building where the waterfront meets Pioneer Square. Visit ColemanCommons.com to book a space for your upcoming event. Yeah, I'm kind of resentful of that overlay. Dejanay, you should be taking that personal. Like where my photos at? You know what I'm saying? We just get a logo on the screen. Man, let me keep it moving here to the introductions. We got two dynamic guests here tonight, starting first with Darryl Foto. Darryl is no stranger here to these studios. Darryl is a Cameroonian. Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, Darryl is a Cameroonian poet by way of Washington with almost 45,000 followers on TikTok and countless public performances. His work focuses on mental health awareness, self-reflection, self-healing, family, and blackness. Darryl Foto, welcome back to the Black Media Matters studio.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Now that's what's up. I've been to 32 countries on the continent of Africa, but Cameroon is just one of them that I haven't made it to.
Hey man, I ain't saying you should go.
No,
but book a ticket.
Yeah, I should. I'm saying I'm trying to get it there, man. We'll talk more about your roots and how that's impacted your work here a little later in the show. And next up, I'm so happy to have you here. You know what I'm saying? LIVt is a black queer R&B hip hop artist from Lakewood, Washington, who uses music and film to capture the authentic essence of the Pacific Northwest. She blends timeless influences of black culture with heartfelt storytelling to explore the complexities of the black experience, including grief, redemption, and love. LIVt, welcome to the Black Media Matters studio.
Thank you for having me. This is such a beautiful studio. The film media nerd in me I just love being on the set, so I'm happy.
Yeah, well, man, you definitely on the set, and you on the set. You know what I'm saying? We're up in here. So the way that this show works is that in the first part of the show, we talk about news and headlines, and then after that, we talk about each of you guys, what you got going on. You ready?
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
All right, man. I think most people know what we're talking about today when it comes to news and headlines. You can go ahead and put up an overlay over there, Eric. Man, yeah, this is the latest update here I was just there at the press conference at 4 o'clock with Mayor Katie Wilson, and they're saying that this shooting may have been gang related. This was something that we knew about all along. You can bring it down, Eric. This is something we heard yesterday, but for people who might not know, I think everybody does. Of course, there was a shooting yesterday around 6 p.m. at the Bite of Seattle at Seattle Center with, 3 people dead and 4 people injured, possibly a 5th. Their numbers, substantial numbers and facts are very difficult to come about at the moment. It's hard to get a lot of information out of the investigators and what's happening right now. But one thing that we do know for sure is that 3 people lost their life yesterday at the Seattle Center. And now what they're saying is Seattle uses a word. This is interesting that they actually use the word gang today, because what the Seattle police has been referring to as group violence as opposed to gang violence, and saying that a lot of times when people think of gang, they think of old school gang and turf, Crips, Bloods, this neighborhood, this street. But what they're saying that they're experiencing these days with young people is it's more like a clique or group violence. And a lot of times members are interchangeable. They fall out. They go to this group and that group, which is a bit different than gang culture, where someone's not necessarily going from Crip to Blood to folk. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like gang of people.
Right, right. And what they're saying is group violence. But the only thing guys can really, because there's retaliation involved, that's the only thing people can really, that's what we see in gang violence. I've said a lot, but Liv, when you first heard about this, and what were your thoughts? How are you feeling right now?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is when I find out the ages of people involved, especially if it's young people. In my mind, I'm always just like, man, what else do we need to be doing to prevent this kind of stuff? Then I always think about all the people's lives who were just changed in that one moment, from that one decision. If their lives would never be the same, right. Whether they're the families of the people who were involved in the altercation, the families of the people who were hurt. And I'm always just, in my mind, just straight goes to like preventative work before we even get to that point. Like how did we get there? There's been a lot of gun violence in Seattle that I've known people who were witness to stuff. I read stuff online. And I just always wonder, I'm like, what else needs to be done? I ask questions. That's my biggest thing. And then I always think about just the people affected and pray for them.
All right. Darryl?
First and foremost, that literally all that verbatim. Why? It's the prevalence. I mean, we can talk about, hey, we need to control guns, we need to do this, we need to do that, but at the end of the day, how can an event that is supposed to bring the whole city together end like that? Like, just that as a concept is crazy. The fact that we could leave our houses thinking we're gonna have a great time, and for what, the gang aspect of it, I guess, is important relative to the overall story, but still, regardless of if it's gang affiliated, regardless of if somebody's just trigger happy, regardless of whatever the cause, why are we still dealing with this? Why is this? I heard the story, I read it on Facebook, and it was literally right under like a middle school classmate's birthday. Like, that's how casually it popped up on my timeline. And it was to the point where I literally was gonna scroll past until I realized it was in Washington. It was the fact that on some level, in my brain, it was already like, okay, this is a thing that happened, dope. On to the next thing. And it's not to say that it's ever that cavalier or it's ever that casual, but it's like, it happens so often. You know what I mean? Yeah, the first thought was, oh, we're still doing this. Yeah.
The language around when they use the word, because I first read mass shooting, so whenever I hear that, my mind always goes to someone just picked up a gun and
trigger happy.
Yep, just started shooting people. So my mind goes there before it even goes to these are 2 people having an altercation. So that was also my first thought of like, oh, I can't think of when that last happened in Washington. So that was my first thought of like, what's going on? But then over the next like hour or so, obviously we get updates and that change, but I always find that initial language interesting, that's the like mass shooting, because to me mass shooter means just an active shooter walking around killing people, not an altercation. So that's also my first thought was, whoa, what is going on? How did that happen? But obviously that changed pretty quickly.
Yeah, the definition that I think law enforcement uses is a shooting where 4 or more people are hit. And so with that, they would consider it a mass shooting.
Got you.
And
Okay.
so whether it's the gunman running around or whether like this appears to be an altercation between some people, that if 4 or more people are hit, then it's considered a mass shooting. And of course, when you hear the term mass shooting, then it goes, nationally and internationally. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's such a shift from World Cup.
Yeah.
That was also my thought.
That's trippy.
I was like,
wow,
oh.
I didn't even deep that.
We were. It was like quiet and positivity.
The city
and
was
together.
alive, full of love. Oh.
And I mean, that was the thing, that it's like, it's such a shift. It's like, I mean, it's crazy because all of those people here in the city for weeks and weeks and weeks, hundreds of thousands of people coming through this and that, barely heard about anything.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then, it's like, boom, here we are. And I guess also in a sense, it's like, the city did a lot around World Cup and a lot of, in all kinds of spaces. You see the streets was clean, there's people was gone, everything else. But then somehow, like, we're reminded that the problems that we had before World Cup, that like all of a sudden so many different things disappeared on us. A lot of those problems are still relevant and they're still here and we're dealing with it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We're going to stay on top of this one, clearly. And I think that in the coming days, we're going to find a lot more information. Hopefully, the streets is talking way more than the city is.
That's where I'm getting a lot of my
like
people on the ground.
like in a as usual, the streets are talking more than. But we don't want to put street information on here if we can't verify it, and so a lot of times we have to wait for the city to catch up. But I do know this is that, man, we should be prepared, and I hate to say it like that. That we should be prepared, and hopefully that the city and the county and law enforcement, everything else, and event producers and all these kind of things take all kinds of security and safeguards. So right now, man, it's like we know what we're dealing with, but we don't know what we're dealing with. There's never. I remember Chief Barnes said when he was in here a month ago that there was a 63% increase in crimes committed between juveniles 13 to 17. 63% in 1 year.
That's a crazy metric.
63%.
Yeah, 60. So that'll tell you that, and this is something that we, as our society here, at least in Seattle, we haven't necessarily dealt with something like this that's occurring right now with our young people. And it's
Wait, you said between 13 and 17?
13 and 17 years old.
Kids.
Yeah.
What are the youth doing out here?
I mean, this is the big question. And to the point where if you, like you say, you're on Facebook, some people are on Facebook saying like, hey, we need to bring back gang unit. Other people on Facebook being like, hey, well, where are the parents at? And, I'm sure some of that population, there is no, the home life is horrible. That's a given, but not all of that population. And I mean, there's so many different things that play into these kind of figures. When I was a kid, way long time ago, with all this gray hair in the Central District, man, we couldn't do nothing because your neighbors would tell your mama and all this kind of that. You know what I'm saying? The dynamics around community are so shifted here in Seattle.
The village is gone.
Oh, basically.
Yeah, the village is gone.
I would also argue that some some people don't understand to respect the village, and like when certain people come and are trying to talk to you, and I've seen it where they're like, I don't know who you are, and so
I ain't got no time for that.
Yeah, so it's I think the village is there, but I think it's
It's true. The village
Yeah.
shifted from somebody telling you your kids was acting up to them being like, "Thank you for keeping an eye on them and telling me," to, "Well, you ain't gonna tell me nothing about my kids."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to work in education, so I
So you
just
know.
know.
You know.
Sometimes it's like, oh, when I would meet certain parents, I'm like, oh, dang, okay.
I see how you got here.
Yeah, and I thought they were nice people. Like their intention was never bad, but these problems go far beyond this young person.
Right.
That me as their teacher, I can't fix that.
Right.
You know.
Well, we will continue this discussion here on the pop-up. Unfortunately, this show's only been on, 3 months, Eric? Yep. And man, we have talked about so many tragic events that impact our community. But as my mama always says, we can't leave the audience in an affected state. So we do have some good news here. This comes from right behind us here in the Coleman Commons. We had a pre-opening event. Tiki Awards retrospect. T-Dub. You guys know T-Dub?
Yes,
I know
yes.
you know T-Dub. Exactly. That's our dog. T-Dub's also the host of Art of the Matter on Converge. And she's the curator of Coleman Commons. She ain't even broke out her curator hat yet. You know what I'm saying? She broke out her exhibitor hat. You feel me? And so she had a panel, and it was crazy. I don't know how much you guys are in the kicks, but like Takia's in the kicks. And she had a whole panel full of people who was full of kicks. This is A9, Eric.
What up, y'all? T-Dub here, checking in from Coleman Commons and the retrospective. Man, today we hosted Soul Story, which was an incredible conversation with some of my favorite sneaker influencers, including Rex Prasad, Jaquay Holiday, Jordan Knox, and Brandy Henry. And we really sunk our teeth into the question of, is sneaker culture dead? And man, when I tell you, these guys really brought it. The stories, the conversation, the depth, the laughter, it was everything. I am spent right now, but I am so happy with how everything turned out. Make sure you tap in with Coleman Commons at www.colemancommons.com for all the stuff that this place has to offer. And we'll see y'all at the next one.
She killed it.
She was, man, and it was all like, man, they was talking a whole different language. It was like, yeah, but the Jordan 3.5 with the, you know what I'm saying, the burgundy tongue. I'm like, man, I can't follow. But they was like, they was like sneakerhead heaven, right? So that was Saturday. And then yesterday was a soul swap, and that was with Afro Sapphics.
Love them.
It was in the building. Let's go ahead and play that one, Eric.
Hey, what's up? This is Michaela, and I'm coming at you at Coleman Commons. Today we had a clothing swap, a live styling session, and a panel all in one event. It was such a dope event. People left with styling tips. People left with new clothes. This space was perfect for this. I mean, we had different tables and different rooms to have, separating between donations, which we had a whole room full of free clothing for people to grab with no cost at all. And then we also had things to swap. It was just such a dope space. The community was here, they showed up. I learned a lot of things personally. I know everybody learned a lot of things about fashion. It was a beautiful event, and everybody had a great, great, great time.
But even beyond all that, the panel, because it was a fashion panel. And what was really dope is that, like, for people that came out for the swap, there was literally stylists who was there. Like, if you found something in a bin and you're like, "Ooh, this is great, but what can I wear it with?"
Like styling the people.
It's really stylists
I'll come
who
with
was
spot.
there will be like, "Oh, you can wear it with this, you can wear it with that, all that kind
That's
of
really
stuff."
cool, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got it together.
I was gonna say I saw it because I commented on the post that I saw it, the algorithms. I saw it after it happened, and I was sad because I am a sneakerhead. I am into fashion, and yeah.
Okay, well, we got to make sure and do this for both of you guys so it doesn't get lost in the algorithm. August 6th is the grand opening of the Coleman Commons over there. It's going to be curated by T-Dub. It's the whole space, and we'll make sure that you get invites. It's Pioneer Square Art Walk, too.
So it's a lively day.
That John a twofer.
Yeah, that's
Which is
what
also
I'm
very
saying.
fashion forward now.
Yeah, Big O will be there, so we'll have our drink and our two-step.
A little lemon.
Well, what are you gonna wear though? What's the fit?
What is the fit, Eric?
I'm gonna do me.
Well, he a
I mean,
hippie,
but
too.
I like Eric's fit today. I was looking at the shoes actually.
Yeah, I mean, what,
Sometimes doing me is the fit.
I think all of us are in dress code except for me. So whatever you want to wear,
I like the
you know
fit
what
too.
I'm
I
saying?
like the New Balances.
A lifestyle.
We'll be
Cargo
good.
shorts.
That's August 6th, and we'll make sure and follow up with you. We're gonna take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we learn more about Darryl Foto. You're watching the pop-up.
Experience the revitalized spirit of the Seattle waterfront at Coleman Commons, a premier event space where modern luxury meets local charm. Unwind in our serene wellness spaces or find inspiration browsing unique exhibits from local artists. Our space offers the perfect backdrop to connection with friends, neighbors, and community. Fit from everything from company galas to your girl's birthday party. Looking to book a space for your event? Visit ColemanCommons.com today.
Black women in Washington face more than twice the risk of syphilis in 2024, but cases are falling as we learn the facts and look out for ourselves. Yet 1 in 10 pregnant cases were among Black women, but more than half of potential congenital cases were prevented with early care. Early testing makes a difference. Get tested and protect yourself. Protect your child. Protect the community.
When our community seeks answers, we just don't report the news. We hold the space for the solutions. The Pop-Up, bringing you face-to-face with policymakers, change makers, moving your city forward. Unfiltered, unapologetic, and essential. And now, we're going to come to you a little bit earlier. Tune into The Pop-Up weeknights at 7 p.m., where culture meets Converge.
You see that, right? You see that cheese? Lizzie, that was Darryl Foto right here in the Black Media Matters studios back in 2024 on the day with Trey. Deontay Damper was the guest host. You know what I'm saying? This is your first time back since then, huh? Come back one more time.
Yeah, I came back one more time, but I think I just did a poem and then I was kind of skedaddled.
So, you know, I mean, I did an introduction here, and it's like 2-3 sentences, if that. So it didn't do you justice. But we'll show some of your work here in a bit. But man, tell everybody a little bit more about yourself. You know, that's relevant to our content today.
I was about to say, how much time you got, brother? This can go from like a casual conversation. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, about you know your artistry. Of course, we know you as a spoken word artist. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more, not only about that, but man, how did you get into spoken word?
Yes. You know, first of all, thank you for asking. I feel like where I am with my poetry, most of the times I'm in spaces, I'm just doing a poem and then I leave. You know what I mean? So I don't really get to talk about the artistry. I got into poetry from watching this poet, Neil Hilborn. He did this poem on OCD. It was like correlation between his OCD and this girl he was in love with, and blew my mind. I didn't know words could do that. I didn't know somebody's story could just make me cry. And I'm not talking like the one tear, no, ugly cry, like sobbing. Cool. So after that, at the time I really liked writing short stories, but I definitely have ADHD, just super undiagnosed, and I never had the attention span to actually finish a story. So I'd get about 2 chapters deep, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hold you, charge it. And then I found poetry, and it was like, I could tell you my whole life in 3 minutes, and you'll listen. That did something for me. Like it changed a lot, from the way I look at the world, from the way I engage with the world, from the way I view my writing, from the way I talk to folk, from the way I think. It just opened everything for me.
This is dope. your poetry is wild, man. Some things come and just where you don't expect it, because you came here that day on the day with Trey, and I remember I was sitting right over there at my desk. Sundays is also a day I be into my own thing, planning for the week, and then you did Black Joy.
Yeah.
And you know, in that moment, and that's my thing. You know, I used to be in the music space too, so you know, developing talent, seeing talent, it was like, oh, it was undeniable. And matter of fact, later on that day, we clipped that out and we put it across, and it was the first day of February.
Yeah.
Actually, you know,
yeah,
and
the timing was crazy.
Yeah, it was like, what a way to start Black History Month, and it was February 1st, and we released that, and that Black Joy, and it went. Like it went, it was like, yo, man, this is exactly what people, we never know when we're going to get a gym here in the studio. And I don't know if what you thought the responsibility, I think they had to coax you into it.
I'm not going to hold you. I was like, I don't know about spinning on this show. You know, I'm going to chop it up. We're going to have a casual conversation. Y'all can find the video on my Instagram or something. Yeah.
And Deontay was twisting your arm.
Absolutely.
And Deontay was
Shout
like,
out Deontay.
no, you got to give him something. You got to give him something. And we'll talk about it more on the other side of this video, but that poem right there ended up impacting us, the whole company. Okay. And I'll show everybody Black Joy, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Black Joy, Black Joy. I'm talking smiling faces, all shades of beautiful.
When you think of Black Joy, what comes to mind?
Black joy to me is not just something that's seeped in trouble and trials and tribulation, but it's something that says that I want to not just say community, but I want to build community. And how do I build community? I find sisters on the street and I give them a head nod.
Black Joy to me is seeing our loved ones we haven't seen in a while.
Bringing them back to something that made them feel warm, bringing them back to something that reminded them of their first love.
Black joy to me is when you can get up, feel good, walk around and see representation.
Black joy is a shooting star's inspiration.
And once you fully embrace and accept what God has already given you, you'll finally see that it's worth it.
Black joy is critical to our community because we need to have space and place where celebration of life and love and living is Black joy. And Black joy is healing. It is medicinal. We need it. Happiness, love, life, liberation. Black joy is critical.
Black joy is dancing and singing offbeat with your friends as if no one is watching.
Where the pride and ethnocentrism, the joy and smells of Blackness.
Black joy is seeing the smiles on our youth's faces as they express themselves unapologetically.
It's just a structured amount of fun.
Black joy is when we take our pride and culture to the streets.
So amazing to go out and take risks. Life is short.
Black joy is a breath of fresh air in a world struggling to breathe.
Black joy is bringing together different generations.
To me, means life.
Thank you for embracing me, accepting me.
Black joy is building generational wealth.
And I see a powerful collective of innovators, dreamers, who are not just building businesses, but are building the future.
Black joy is turning fans into friends over a meal.
There's so much more that I think that y'all can give and that you will give to the community.
It's the essence of who I am at my core. And Black joy is noticing, connecting with, feeding, renewing my soul. It's literally everything.
Black joy is healing generational wounds. It's the house that our ancestors built, the house that we now call home.
And for the first time in my entire life, at 61 years old, I finally have my house.
I promise y'all, ain't nothing taking them keys away. Nothing. It's still our joy.
been a long time since I got emotional watching that. And that's Darryl Foto and Basa Gordon right there. And a collaboration that no one even knew that it was, you know,
hey,
it was
come
a
on.
surprise to you when it came up to it. that it's two things. It was that your full poem inspired all of us here at Converge. And going into 2025, we were like, man, we need a message. We need a message. We need a message. You know what I'm saying? It was actually Basa Gordon who was like, man, replaying the thing, was like, man, Black Joy. And Basa, myself, and Emilio Dominguez sat there. I remember it was, man, New Year's Eve, bro. Like New Year's Eve, we're all sitting there. Then in the New Year's Day, it went to, because every single frame needed to be perfect. And although that video isn't that long at 3.5 minutes, when you're going frame by frame, it's a long time, but it needed to be perfect. So before I come with my question, I do want to say that seeing that montage there makes me so proud of our production teams here at Converge. I mean, yeah, just.
I say, clap them up.
You know, that's all our footage, original footage from Seattle, from Spokane,
Straight from
Portland, Yakima, Tri-Cities, Vantage, Idaho. You know, all of our, man, it's amazing. But Black Joy, Darryl Foto, and I know that your repertoire is much bigger and deeper.
I got a catalog.
That even from that was what we wrote into 2025, and then we ended up doing like scope screenings and a few other places. We even submitted it for Emmy consideration.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That was actually, yo.
Yeah,
I forgot about that, low key.
Man, we submitted it for Emmy consideration in short form. But man, tell us about that Black Joy journey and the story of how you wrote Black Joy. I think people should hear that.
Yes. Like I said this earlier, you know, I rarely get to talk about my poems. I wrote Black Joy neck deep in the pandemic. That is 100% a pandemic poem. I was writing it because I didn't have joy. I was seeing myself die on TV. They had just killed George Floyd. I mean, they've always been killing black people. That wasn't news. It's just that we had to sit with it. Mm-hmm. We had to emaciate ourselves in that feeling, and but in the depths of that depression, in the depths of all of that, it was realizing that we're still killing it on TikTok. You know, folks are still dancing. Folks are still taking the fruits of our labor and enjoying it. And we are providing so much entertainment, so much joy to the world while we are literally protesting just for y'all to stop killing us. Like, not even on some reparations, just like, hey, I just want to make it home after a traffic stop. Even if I was speeding, dog, I don't deserve that bullet. Give me the ticket. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in the depths of that, I was going through a major depression. I had some personal losses in my life, and I needed joy. So that poem was a lifeline. That poem was everything I needed to see in the world. The line in there that I started this whole poem, sometimes I write poems around just like a specific line. Other times it's the whole concept. But for this one, it was the line, Black joy is a breath of fresh air in a world struggling to breathe. That line, it meant so much because I was literally writing it, and there was like a video of that George Floyd video was going on, and there's a grown-ass man literally begging for air. But in the same breath, our joy is that breath of fresh air. And that juxtaposition did a terrible thing to my brain, but it birthed this poem, and shout out to it for that.
Yeah, and you know, I will say this is so we sent that right over to Fox Soul on the national platform. At the time, you know, Back to Basics was also on Fox Soul, Fox 13 here nationally on Fox Soul, and I remember I sent that to the head of Fox Soul down in Houston, Texas, and all I asked them to do was for a repost. I was like, hey, we're getting ready to put this on our Instagram. This is our story for, you know, our mission statement for 2025. And they emailed back and they said, this is amazing. Can you trim it down to a 2-minute version? We want to put
We
it.
want to post it, John.
Yeah, and Fox Soul put that across their national platform for months.
Oh wow!
Word.
You didn't know that?
I
This
gotta follow
thing
up.
went. That's what I'm saying. That message is just so potent. You know what I'm saying? Of Black Joy, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your current poetry and what's coming up later on in the show. But in this segment here, I do want to ask you how your heritage has influenced your work. You mentioned you're from Cameroon.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where I don't write about home as much as I would love to, but in so many ways, where I'm from really did lead me towards poetry. If you've ever talked to an African auntie, uncle, mother, they're going to say some of the most ridiculous things, but it's so poetic in the way they'll say it. I ain't going to try and think of anything off the top of my head. I'm not going out like that. But holistically, it's my mom, for example. I have a line in a poem. It's saying something to the effect of, my mother has never been to a poetry slam, but I swear she's my favorite poet. She was the first to teach me that poetry is the diction of heaven, reverberating off the eardrums of those who need it most. And that is my mother's voice. When I speak to my mom, we don't really speak in English. We speak in Pidgin English. It's like a German bastardization of English. But when I speak to my mom, I realized the other day I softened my voice. I don't put no bass in my voice when I'm talking to my mama. And it's like, at first I was like, oh, it's a respect thing. But it's like, nah, I just don't have to. There's no need to be guarded here. This is just a space for me to exist. And that's how I feel like my poetry is. That feeling of talking to my mama is how I want people to feel when they hear me, you know, and that comes from home. That comes from the oral traditions of Cameroonian culture. That comes from actually oral traditions of African culture holistically. It's just, when I think of poetry, I think of roots. I think of home. I think of the red clay of Cameroon. I think of Cameroon's bilingual, so there's certain things that they'll say in French that have no translation. Like I could tell you what it means in English, but it wasn't said the same. And there's so many beautiful aspects of where I'm from that, yeah.
So why do you think you haven't written about it? I mean, you kind of freestyled a couple things in that.
The truth be told is because I haven't been home. I haven't been home in years. Last time I was home, I was a boy, and I left because when I went to high school in Cameroon. No African kids goes back to Cameroon or back to their country because they were being a good kid. You feel me? So the circumstances in which I was in Cameroon were not the best, and when I was leaving, it was like, thank God. Well, I left a lot of good things there. I left my grandma there, and you know, she passed away recently, and there's a betrayal to self inside why I haven't written about my home, because how can you claim a home that you haven't visited? How can you claim land when the people who you love most are being buried there and you don't know where they're buried? I can't go to their graves because I don't know. I couldn't even hail a taxi to get there because I don't speak the language. And it's every time I write about home, it's like I start cramping, my hands start cramping, my heart start cramping, everything hurts. And I've been running away from it. I think that's the short of it.
Maybe that's the next journey. Maybe not to write, but
to go back home.
Experience.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And man, I'm glad that this is a space that we have here that you're comfortable in sharing. You know, I spent 20 years on the continent. I think we were talking about before. I've been to over 30 countries. The majority of my time in Tanzania and Kenya, and East Africa, Zanzibar, all throughout West Africa too, but never to Cameroon. But what you talked about, and you widened it, and you said, nah, this is traditions across the continent. It's so true. whether no matter the language,
Absolutely.
whether it's in Swahili,
storytelling in
what I'm
Africa,
saying? It's on a different level. And
Uh-huh.
so, yeah, I would say, man, we would talk after the show, man. I would say that it's like that very well might be that next great step for you. And when you do go back and you do get over sometimes the disappointment in oneself or the pain of it, the reward on the other side is far greater, and we'll talk. That being the case, we're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we get to learn all about LIVt. You are watching the pop-up.
Everyone show up for each other. In the barbershop, at home, in the group chat, we check in. Not just you good, but really good. Because the health of your friends and family matter, and they need you to check in. Healthy men keep each other safe. And real ones check in on the ones we love. Because when we tap in, we stay healthy together.
Experience the revitalized spirit of the Seattle waterfront at Coleman Commons, a premier event space where modern luxury meets local charm. Unwind in our serene wellness spaces or find inspiration browsing unique exhibits from local artists. Our space offers the perfect backdrop to connection with friends, neighbors, and community. Fit from everything from company galas to your girl's birthday party. Looking to book a space for your event? Visit ColemanCommons.com today.
LIVt right there back in 2022 at Numo sold out show. Of course, you know what I'm saying? Rocking the crowd.
Yeah. Come on. It's my favorite thing to do.
We're going to talk about it here. But first of all, you're so talented.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I really thank you for real. I need the affirmations.
Well,
as an artist, you understand.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that it's like we're the this is your first time. You've actually been on our platform before, just in in interviews and footage and things like that.
I think I did something when y'all were at the Paramount. In the y'all were just starting, and it was like the pandemic was still going on because they weren't doing any programming.
We did a
there.
takeover. We were actually the first people to actually use the Paramount for the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've always admired you from far because
likewise,
I'm like, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? There's so much talent there. So I got some questions for you, but before I get into that, again, I don't think our introduction in the beginning of the show did you really justice of all the different things that you do. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
First thing, and I purposely waited to say this. So the T is silent in my name, so it's Liv. And people always do that, but I always like to explain the T is my last name. I've changed my name after my father passed. I had a lot of different artist names, and I just kind of arrived at my name. My family calls me Livy. So my name is Olivia. So I arrived at Liv, and I still wanted my last name to somewhere be in there. Also, I liked the way it looked. And I don't know. I really just a little bit more about me. I really started taking just my solo career serious after my father passed. And really used from probably in the last 10 years to just find my voice in music and filmmaking, and just really, really trying to showcase just my Black experience as a Black woman, and hoping that comes across in my music. and in the visuals that I make. And that's just something that's just been really important to me over the last 10 years. Not an easy thing, but I enjoy it very much. I feel very lucky to get to do that. I feel very lucky to get to be here and talk to y'all about it. Yeah.
What is your voice? How would you define or describe your voice?
I would say my voice is authentic. My voice is fun. My voice is a woman, a Black woman. And I would say my voice is classic. I feel like my goal is to past and present. It should always, like, it could be felt, whether I'm here, whether I'm gone, either way. That's the goal.
Timeless.
Yeah, timeless. That's a better word.
Right, and this isn't in our producer questions here, but yeah, I mean, what has that journey been like?
To find my voice?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it just, I don't know. It's like you're sitting here, and in your own kind of way, like it was like how Darryl in the last segment went somewhere inside of himself. And then communicated what he was feeling inside of himself back. When you just explained all that right there from your name and everywhere else, it seems like there's just a depth to you.
Thank you. I think, honestly, to truly, I think for someone to truly find their voice, I think it's hard, because one, that means you kind of got to hold the mirror up to yourself a little bit and be okay with what you find and learn the parts that you got to own as a human. To me, as an artist, you got to own the good, the bad, the ugly about yourself and be able to talk about it in some form or fashion. But sometimes that means, okay, I got to be honest about things that I've been through. I got to be honest about my flaws. I got to be honest about things that make me happy, things that make me cry. And I think as an artist to really do that, I think it's really rewarding and fun when you find your voice, but I also think there's parts of it that are lonely, because it's like some people humans don't always want to go there when it comes to finding your voice, when it comes to finding who you are and really standing in that and choosing to do that. And then to, as an artist, do it on a public platform, to basically put it out there for people to see. It takes a lot of courage, and sometimes that courage just comes at a price. But I think the reward, oh my goodness, I just so many of my favorite moments in life come from being an artist, and I'm grateful for that journey, even though sometimes it's hard, especially just being a woman, being Black. when we also have our voices, people don't like that. when you have your voice.
What is that experience? Because I think almost, the average person can be like, yeah, when people don't like your voice or people aren't understood. But there's something extra there. Is it being a Black, being a woman?
It's like, from my experience, people want me to have a voice, but wait for permission to use it. And when you have a voice, when you're an artist, when you're someone who expresses themselves, when you're someone who's opinionated like me, I don't speak only when spoken to, but I think that's what people want. Or be confident, but don't be more confident than me. If I haven't found my voice and I don't know who I am, I don't want you to outshine me. I don't want, because you're making me feel away. And I just find when I'm in certain spaces, especially spaces that aren't, where the people don't look like me, that's the thing, where it's like, at first it seems like they enjoy it, and then it's a little like, oh, you really know who you are. I don't know who I am yet, so I don't know if I like this. And so those are the parts where I say it's a little lonely, because you can't always be in spaces like this. That's not the norm. As a creative in the music industry, whether you're doing films, just the regular world. So that's hard.
It's interesting you say that. So this Black Media Matters studio, it's on the radar in so many different genres, and one of them is opera and also ballet.
Oh.
Right? And there's so many world famous opera singers that are black, sing and talk 5-6 different languages, ballet dancers be all around the world. And when they come here, a lot of times they be like, this is the first time I felt comfortable. I can wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, or I can wear this and that, and I can be, in a space that celebrates blackness. And we be like, man, you be all over the world doing interviews and everything else, and you ain't comfortable? And he's like, not like this. And so,
you be the expert in the room, and they don't like that. It's crazy.
You called me here to teach you something.
You
don't like that I'm teaching you.
Wow. And now you're not only a recording artist, you're also a filmmaker.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to rap afterwards. What I'm saying?
Multi-hyphenate, try to be.
Yeah, pick up some tips from you. Well, actually, we got a clip here from Scope Screenings.
Oh shit.
Welcome to Scope Screenings, the September edition, Queen of the Screen. This is our 4th episode this season. We're at Langston in the Central District celebrating women in film. Tonight is grunge, punk, and emo theme, and the reason that we selected to be Queen of the Screen is because we were inspired by Tina Bell, one of the inventors of grunge music, who's actually a Black woman from Seattle. So we were inspired to do a whole night that features women and shows people, the women behind the camera, who might not often be focused on, or even people might not even know that they are the ones who are making this stuff happen.
Having this particular space be not only the center for showing Black films and BIPOC films, but also tonight primarily showing films with Black women who are the directors and writers being shown tonight. And I feel like it just adds to the sort of historical fabric that the space already has. It feels amazing to see the crowd coming in, feeling the space, hearing the voices, feeling the tone, because I feel like it's the crowd for me. I feel like this crowd is here for us. This crowd is here to celebrate us. And I think it's important for our work to show up in spaces where we know that people want us here. We know that people are here to celebrate us, to support us. And I feel like it's a huge deal for all of us to be in this building celebrating women filmmakers. I think it's important that women filmmakers know that they should keep going. I think they should tell the stories they want to tell. I think they should study, but also have fun and create and not be afraid of the landscape. I think we've had a lot of great brothers kind of pave the way and be around us, but I think it's time for us to step forward and have no shame in that, because I think the work that we make is beautiful. I think the stories we tell are beautiful and they're relevant. And I want to see more of it. I want to see multiple nights celebrating women in film, not just at Scope Screenings, specifically Black and POC women.
So one thing about Converge is we got receipts.
Nice. I love a receipt.
We got archive, man. Tell us about you as the filmmaker. What kind of films are you into? What have you been doing?
First of all, I come from, my family just played a lot of music, watched a lot of movies. And I really feel like it starts with just my family being into that. And my partner and I make jokes because she's like, you've watched so many movies. And I'm like, no. And one night she just opened up, Googled random film names and just went down a list. And I was like, okay, maybe I have watched a lot of films. But honestly, it was like 7th grade. There was one year my mom decided I don't want to pay for cable. So we would go to Hollywood Video every Friday and do like the 5 for 5. And so she'd get 5 videos, I get 5 videos. And I just fell in love with, I just watched all kind of movies and then fell in love with figuring out the music, who was the music director and the songs. But wasn't in a place as far as in school and stuff, they didn't make it seem accessible. Music was accessible. And I was always into music my whole life, but it wasn't until college where I was like, okay, I was in a band, we bought a camera, and I started filming our content. And then I'd already shot a bunch of just stuff for ASB and little things in high school, but it just never seemed accessible till I got older. And then as I got older, I'm inspired by other shows, and I was like, I just want to make stuff that talks about real life experiences. That I love when Issa Rae was like, I just like writing about Black people just living life. And that's a lot of my work. I try to take from my own experiences, real experiences, and showcase it. And hopefully I always tell people my goal was to make some people feel things. when you walk away from something you've seen that's a live presentation, do you walk away like, oh man, reminded, affected? Do you want to talk? Usually I like stuff that sparks some debate. And that's, especially in the last couple of years, that's the stuff that I've tried to make a lot.
So how does your making music and filmmaking, how does that intersect in your life? Is it it's like all together one gumbo pot? Is it two separate things?
When I'm lucky enough to, so like the last project I did was a short film and music video. So in those ways, I'm lucky when it gets to intersect. So it's like a 2-for-1. I get to make a song and make a visual. Because when I make songs, some people see colors, I see scenes in my head when I'm in the studio. So when I'm singing, I see it play out. I envision something happening with two people. So when I'm fortunate enough and I can make a music video, I like to do that. But I think the same thing with my music and film. It's just like, can I invoke some type of emotion? Like you walk away and you never walk away with nothing. You always walk away like, ooh, something in here was affected and I need to talk about it. So I keep that as sort of the root of the two.
That's so dope.
Thank you.
I was telling people we're going to have an amazing show here tonight. We got one more break here. I mean, the thing is, so we're overtime, so I hope you stick around for another 5-10 minutes. Yeah, and the reason why we're overtime, though, and these guys are my witness, is that we get lots of elected officials and people running for office. I mean, them shows are on time. Right? Because I'm like, yeah, okay. But when we get into a space where like people, you get into that authentic share mode, I don't ever want to interrupt. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to just, that's kind of the vibe here. Is that staying on time ain't as important as people being able to share honestly and authentically from their heart. And that's the kind of vibe we want to be able to create here. So that being said, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have 1 or 2 questions left, and then we'll see where we can catch up with Liv and with Darryl Foto. You're watching The Pop-Up.
My name's Deontay Damper, and I want to talk to you about something real. Mental health, substance use, alcohol use, things many of us often carry in this community, often in silence. What a lot of people don't know is this: crisis care services in King County are free, and they're available 24/7 for every single one of us. You can call 988 at any time and reach out to trained, compassionate counselors right here in this very region. And we're talking about people who listen and stay with you through the moment to figure out what you need. Now, if you want someone to come to you, they'll send their mobile crisis teams anywhere in King County. These mental health professionals and people with lived experience, not law enforcement, from DESC, YMCA, and the Sound, will show up and support you. And now there's another option. You can walk into one of King County's crisis care centers anytime for urgent mental health and substance use support. Just like you walk into urgent care for a broken arm, but this time it's for your mind and your recovery. No insurance, no appointments, just walk in. The first center is actually open right now in Kirkland, and people are already coming through those doors every day. And more centers are on the way, actually in the comings of years, including Seattle on First Hill, in South King County, on the east side, and one specifically just for our youth. We all know someone who struggles. I have. Maybe you have. Or someone you love. Asking for help can often feel hard, but you're not alone. You have someone to call. Someone who can show up, and now a safe place to go. These services are free, and they're here because communities demanded better. They voted to make it real. The doors are open. Walk in when you need to.
All right, welcome back to The Pop-Up, coming to you right here from the Black Media Matters studio in downtown Seattle. There I am. This is bounce me all over. I'm your host, the Big O. And man, we've had a fantastic discussion here tonight with Liv and with Darryl Foto. I mean, we knew that this show was gonna be special. Like well beforehand. We knew when me said yesterday, he's like, yeah, we got Liv and Darryl Foto. I said, together? He was like, yeah. I said, oh my goodness. It's going to be amazing. So we're here near the end of the show. I got a few questions for you guys. I want to start off with you first, Darryl. What do you want people to take away from your art?
You're not feeling what you're feeling alone. Sometimes I'll write a poem, for example, and it'll be just a depressing poem. There was never a happy upswing in that poem. The purpose of that poem was not to uplift nothing. It was just to say that a thing happened and it sucked. And I want somebody to hear that and be like, oh, okay. So there are Tuesdays that just feel like the world ended. And that was just a Tuesday. And tomorrow will be a Wednesday. And then there will be a Thursday and a Friday and so on and so forth. I want folks to feel as if they are seen, but not in like the way, oh, I see you, bro. But like, no, I witnessed you. You were witnessed, and the things that you went through were valid. They didn't have to mean something. It wasn't a whole, hey, what didn't kill you made you strong kind of thing. Nah, it just, a thing happened, and that sucked. And that too is okay. That'd be the takeaway from artistry.
Liv?
I think for me, I just want people to know while I make art for myself, I also make art for the people. And I mean that in the sense of I'm always hoping that there's someone else out there that will hear or see something that I create and feel kind of like what you said, that everything will be okay, or feel seen. I think the biggest thing for me is when art connects with me, I feel seen. I feel like, oh my goodness, I know that, I've experienced that. And so I'm always hoping that even if it's just one person, they feel seen, they feel appreciated, and they know I'm making it for them.
You know, I usually keep the questions for the guest, but we used to say, I guess we still do here, is that, you know, I mean, we're in perpetual art, creation of art here at Converge, like every day. You know, at one point, we're kind of off season right now, but at one point, you know, we say a mini doc a day. Across our platform, and that season comes back in probably like September. The talk show season is more chill for us, but you know, while you guys were answering this question, I was looking at a picture back there on the wall of my father. You know, my dad 50 years ago opened one of the first black-owned photographic portrait studios in this part of America. Oh, wow. He was a graduate from Brooks Institute down in Santa Barbara.
You said that real casually.
Yeah.
You said that real casual. That's dope.
That's amazing.
He was a cinematographer at MGM, and he came here, and it's so intertwined that, you know, he was a staff photographer at the Fax newspaper all those years ago, and then opened the photographic portrait studio. And as a little kid, I grew up in the dark room, you know, with him, developing photos and everything else. And so much of him is in so much that we do. And he passed away in 2023. But only sad is like, I only made, me personally, there's lots of other people at Converge, but I only made stuff and still make stuff, but I only made it for my parents. And I always felt real lucky that while like a lot of people create things and the validation could be anywhere. Oh, this needs to go viral or this needs to go whatever. Man, to have like my mom and my dad be like, son, good job, is like, this is dope. And now, you know, it's like, I make stuff for my mom or I make stuff for the neighborhood. But people don't realize that it was like so many things that I personally touched or produced. The subject, it was a beautiful subject or story, but it's like I made that for my parents. You get what I'm saying? It's like I just, you know. And so my mom had she had some health issues, and now she's back. And so like the biggest joy for me, it isn't. I think that's why we're able to make so many stories of substance here, because it doesn't matter about likes. It doesn't matter about it doesn't matter about anything. It's like, how can we pour our hearts into making the best story? And like I said, I got it easy because my validation just comes from my mama being like, that's a good one, son. Or just thinking of my dad would be like, okay, that's a good story there.
I love that.
You know, and I feel like our community and maybe even bigger, the city and other things, they benefited from art created for an audience of two. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I don't know. I just saw my dad there looking back at me at the wall, and
that's beautiful, man.
Just wanted to share.
Love that.
No, that was beautiful. Shoot.
You know,
you ain't gonna make me cry on your
yeah,
almost got him for like 3. Hold on now.
All right. And speaking of impact, I'll start with you. Where do you see, and both of you guys have layers to you, but some of the things you were really vocal about, you know, is being a Black woman and artist. Where do you see your work making the most impact in community?
Honestly, my goal, and taking it out of the creative and more so, when I do a music video, when I do short film, commercial, I really try to employ people who don't get opportunities behind the camera. I try to employ mostly women. I try to employ Black women, POC women. I really try to give people opportunities who don't get that opportunity, and my goal is, the more I can move up and be able to live full-time off my music and my film, I want to employ people, honestly. Like outside of affecting people creatively, I want to help people be able to get experience and opportunities that they wouldn't get, and to make money. And I think just because I know how hard it is, how hard it's been, how hard it continues to be for me to be able to work in film and in music, I want to eliminate those barriers as I move up. That's how I see my work impacting outside of just the creative aspect, but I want to make an economic impact, honestly.
Come on.
I think you mentioned the city and the arts, and I think the city, King County, Pierce County, give a lot of money to art liaisons and for people to talk about art and for people to decide what artists deserve what. And I just think just pay artists, pay people who work in this, pay to have more stuff like this. I don't need you to pay people to decide and talk about what to do. I know the people just need to be paid to do the things that they love, paid to work, paid to create. Yeah, so that's what I want to do. That's how I want to make an impact.
All right. Darryl?
Yo, you get some of the best answers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sitting here, I'm like,
tough to go after right here.
Hold on, man. Come on, what am I supposed to say all that? I'm gonna answer your question like this though. I've had a couple friends in the community who got into poetry after. So beyond just being a poet and doing poetry, I also host open mics, I host events and whatnot. And I had a couple folks who said that the only reason they're doing poetry now is because of how comfortable they felt on the mic. And the fact that I was able to curate a space for them to feel like that and just give them the opportunity to shoot that shot. If there was an impact I'd want on my artistry, is that I want you to feel like, yeah, I can write a poem. Why the heck can't I write a poem? Why can't I just get up there and say what I gotta say? You know, if I was to actually narrow it in a little bit more, I want to get men to really write poetry though. Like not like the poetry that like, hey, I'm trying to go get this girl, or like I'm trying to sound cool real quick. No, I mean like, talk to me about that girl who broke your heart though, but not like in the way that sounds sexy, but in the way that really hurt. You know what I mean? Talk to me about that. Let me hear that. You feel me? Because the number of men I've had come up to me after a show and be like, hey bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw you up on that stage. I didn't think you was gonna do all that. That don't look like what you want. And then after that, it just turns into a thank you. It turns into I saw something and I saw a version of myself that could exist. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and when you talk about impact as well, Darryl, I said keep in mind that like you never know where art would go. Like I said, just showing up here like that, man, it stayed with us. Like it's powerful, and it was reaffirming. Like we've been saying, it was like crazy. We've been saying like, man, we're Black Joy Network. You know, from jump, and we put paint where it ain't.
And then spawn in like, hey, what's up?
You know, so I'm just saying, but the impacts be on all kinds of different levels, and you know, you just hear feedback right now. So there's a lot of people, both of you guys, that man, you might not ever hear the feedback. You might not see it. It might not manifest itself into a video on national TV or, you know, or something like that. But you know, as true, sincere, authentic artists, you guys are impacting more people than you ever imagined. You know, and you're fortunate when you get into a feedback loop somewhere or a social media post or somebody sees you, it's like you're dope. But there's way more people who will never talk to you, who will never like hit you up or anything like that, who just, man, they hear the words, they see the, you know, they hear the music, they see the visuals, and they're left with something. And that's what both of you guys said. You want to leave people with something. And also, Liv, you want to leave them with some money in their pocket.
Yeah, go ahead, bless them up some bread.
So it's the double up for Liv.
The beans, man. He said you can't cook chili with no beans, man. Hold on, man. That's just cheese and meat.
So we're over time here, and I appreciate you guys, man, sticking with me. And yeah, I'm gonna just have to invite you back because there's so much more to talk about. Before we do all that, though, we'll start with you first, Liv. This is your camera right here, and I know you're so comfortable on sets and everything else. Eric's gonna put you in program, and you get to tell people all about everything you got going on, how they can keep up with you, follow you, and all that good stuff.
Love that. What's up, everybody? My name is Liv. T is silent, as we've learned today. I am releasing new music this Wednesday. It's called Summer Crush, and it's the preview to my album that I've been trying to finish for a year now. And this is the beginning of seeing just more storytelling. This is moving more into an area of love, deep thinking, and just showing more of me. And find me on all those platforms, LIVt_music with a Q. Please tune in. I hope to see y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, it's real solid right there. And Wednesday, me and Darryl was both like, what? Okay, we gonna need some more stuff. We listen, we gotta put you in the fast clip out because we need to be promoting this music on the real. Now, Darryl, we have a nice overlay here. Yeah, so we'll talk about that, and then we'll bring that down, and we'll let people know how they can follow up with you and everything. Where's this thing at here, Eric? All right, E2, let's go. Tell us all about it.
Yeah. So open mic night with a space inside. First and foremost, shout out Moni and Sierra. This is their brainchild. I just am blessed with the opportunity to co-host it with the one and only Deontay Dampier. First and foremost, if you haven't been, you gots to come. The information is on the screen right there. It's going to be right here in the comments. Tap in. It's on Friday the 31st from 7:30 to 12. Look, we get singers, poets, rappers, comedians, dancers, literally everything under the sun. Tap in. Check out what the city has to offer. We are the best open mic in Seattle. Lock it.
All right. You heard it from Darryl Foto right there. I wrote something. No, it was,
I'll change my foot stance again.
Yeah. I think I want to come on Friday and say a few words.
Please do. Please do.
Fit me
You
in.
spawn into that room. Just tell me when you want to go up. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm biased.
I've never done spoken word before. But I wrote a few things, and it really caught fire the other day. You might have seen that Onika Guillemay passed away.
I saw people post
a few days ago, and on the Converge side, we created something, You know what I'm saying? And those words that I spoke there, I didn't really, you just never know where your words will go. And so I want to be able to come there.
Brother, please. I would genuinely love nothing more than have you on my open mic, bro. That'd be the most. Just make my ear. Go ahead.
All right. Well, Friday I'll be there.
Tell people.
Now you're the middle camera right there, Darryl. You can tell people how they keep up with you. That middle right there.
Way,
1, 2, 3. That one right there.
They're gonna find the boy. All right, yeah. So my name Darryl Foto, spoken word artist, poet, author, host. You can find me on the 31st. Come to the Space Inside. You can also find me hosting the Living Room. Different open mic experience, same kind of amazing vibe. The Living Room is a brainchild of Tasneem. Again, my friends love me and they invite me to come host because I be liking to do these things, but I'm terrible at organizing things. Come out to the Living Room. That is the first Friday of every month. Inside is the last Friday of every month. So we got you on the first and we got you on the last. You're going to have to figure it out in between. That's between you and God. But hey, I got you on the first, got you on the last. You can follow up with me on Instagram. I'm working on this one because it's a little wordy, but you're going to have to stay with the boy. Picture. He laughing because he know. Picture_perfect_poetry 253. I'm going to say it again. Picture_perfect_poetry 253. Yeah, that's the boy.
All right. Well, man, I appreciate both of you guys not only spending time, but even going overtime with us here tonight. Absolutely. And I mean, exceptional conversation, which is really, really dope. And oftentimes it's rare in our just. I like what you really said earlier. You were like, you know what? I never get to talk about the genesis of something.
I really just pull up and I do a poem, and then I'm like, well,
and then, all right, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Find me on the gram.
Always consider this a home. And Liv, I know this is your first time here, but I told you we have receipts. You know, you done been on the Converge screens.
I was going to say a few
kinds
things.
of different stuff before, but you know, consider this a home. Consider this a haven and a place that you can come and tell people about your work, tell people about your music, your films. We want to be supporters of what you guys are doing. You know, like we need more safe spaces and safe harbors and uplifting and everything else, and that's what we want to be for both of you guys here. So, you know, like I said, I'm a real sincere person. Them people who was here last week running for office, they didn't get that speech from me. Matter of fact, I ran away.
I'm very appreciative that we got the speech.
Yeah. I say all that to say thank you so much.
No,
thank you. Thank you for
honors all ours, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring me back. I want to be back.
Yeah, I got you. We're getting ready to get out of here. And before we do, of course, want to give a big shout out to producer Meek Gill, to our photographer tonight, Dejanay Blakely.
There.
And of course, our live director and Converge Media co-founder, Eric Calligraphy.
Hey,
in the building. Listen, I'm getting ready to have a good time here, chopping it up with these guys. We're back here tomorrow. Actually, Sean Good's here tomorrow. Sean Good and Debrina Jackson-Gandy are here tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I'll be back on Wednesday. And until then, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. Peace.